Hey guys, we have an anime channel called Mystic Sage, where I do a lot of anime stuff. If you like anime, consider checking it out. I will leave a link for that and for the most recent video I posted down in the description below and in the icon above. We also have merch on sale if any of these shirts look cool to you, like Shepherd's Delight. Go check that out in the description as well. So let's just address the title firsthand real quick. It is impossible to have a universal best team for all the games because you can't bring teams back in time due to some Pokemon obviously not existing prior to their debut generation. What if we had a Pokemon game though with all the regions in it? I know that sounds pretty impossible and I could never see Game Freak doing that, but if they did, just imagine how cool it would be to use Pokemon from other regions you would normally not see. For example, seeing Nidoran in Unova or Bunnelby in Kanto. As a lot of you guys may know, I have made best teams for every main series Pokemon game, along with the remakes, all the way up to Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. Let's Go kind of muddies the water and makes unnecessary changes. My mission today is to take 6 Pokemon from across all the best teams I've created and bring them together to make one incredible team. This team is going to be put through a gauntlet in a Pokemon game that features every single region from generations 1 through 7. Before we get into which Pokemon will be featured on this team, we're going to explain the process in which we came across to choose these Pokemon and a few other important things that go into our decision making. If you noticed, I said we because I am not alone in this. Pokemon YouTuber Dobbs is here to help me out.
What is going on, guys? This is Dobbs here, bringing you another cameo. And if you don't know me, I'm a Pokemon content creator that mostly makes top 10s, trivia, and story-driven videos. And if you want to check out the collab Mystic and I did on my channel, you can look down below in the description or at the end card of this video. We did the best Pokemon from every main series game, and it was a lot of fun to make. So yeah, definitely check that out at the end of this video. And thanks for having me, man.
So a whole lot of you are definitely aware of the best team videos I've done on the channel. They are teams made up of 6 Pokemon I deem to be the best when it comes to taking on a region's important battles like the Gym Leaders, Elite Four, Champion, Evil Teams, and the Rival. To preface things, we're going to quickly go over the differences of how this universal team is going to be working when compared to a traditional best team. The first difference, and it's a really big one, is that we're not going to be going over rival battles. There are so many of them and each is designed to be the rival of the protagonist of whichever game you're playing. If this Pokemon game with all the regions actually existed, you could pick any region you'd want to start in. That of course would mean your rival would be determined based on the region you chose. However, with a game that has all 7 regions, we feel that having one rival would be inconsistent. Because of this, we're not going to take rival battles into consideration when making the team. Another huge difference is that all the TMs would be accessible during the normal playthrough, all available prior to the post game. We feel this will make the move selection process a lot easier. TMs would also be updated to the post 5 Gen 5 rules where they have unlimited uses. As for HMs, they are gone. Instead, in this game, we use tools to get past obstacles or special vehicles to get to the next regions. For instances such as Fly or Surf, Surf would be possible still, but not in HM form. You'd be able to just hop on your water Pokemon and surf to the region specific locations. When it comes to getting region to region, you would either take a plane or take a boat like the SS title. To fly to a specific spot in the region you're in, you would just hop on your flying Pokemon the same way you would hop on it for Surf. So there are no HM slaves needed. Now comes the most important part, all the Pokemon on the team. In this game, imagine you having access to all the Pokemon you would want. You would want to go from region to region whenever you please to capture the Pokemon you want. So if you wanted a Nidoran, you could go to Kanto and capture it, or whatever region has Nidoran inhabiting it. Okay, I've gone over how the game would work, how the Pokemon will be obtained, and the differences between this universal team versus the best team. I'm gonna let Dobbs explain the battles we're gonna be covering.
Now when it comes to the battles, we are only going to cover the ones that consist of Gym Leaders, Elite Four members, Champions, and Evil Teams. So this is all standard best team content that you guys have probably seen before on Mystic's channel. And to make this simple, we aren't going to cover every single Pokemon that all these trainers have, because that would just take forever. So we're just going to list out the trainers and some of their valuable Pokemon. So yeah, with all that said, let's go over the universal team.
Okay, so as for the order of this team, I don't think it really matters, but I guess we can go in order from region to region. So that being said, the first Pokemon I want to bring aboard to this universal best team is none other than the best team for Kanto's MVP, Nidoking. Nidoran can be found in Kanto after Mount Moon. In all the Kanto teams Nidoking has been in, it's done extremely well. One of the reasons it did great in Kanto was because of how early access you had to a fully evolved Pokemon. Since we're also going to be going off the movesets of Generation 7, Nidoking has a lot better of an arsenal than it did in the previous best teams for Kanto. Out of all the ground all-around Pokemon I have on a best team, I like Nidoking the most. It has the best of both worlds in physical attack and special attack, not to mention it has a very great move pool for both the stats. It's a great Pokemon, and I think it would do very well on a universal best team. This is Kanto's MVP by far. So now for a moveset for Nidoking, we have Earthquake, Poison Jab, Mega Horn, and Stone Edge. Earthquake is the best ground type attack Nidoking can get, as it has 100 base power. It's incredible. Poison Jab, once again, is for stab, and I believe this is also the best stab attack Nidoking can get for poison. This attack can be learned at level 43. Mega Horn is there for psychic coverage, and that can be learned at level 58. Lastly is Stone Edge, and well, that's extra precautionary coverage for whatever you need Nidoking to do. With this moveset, Nidoking is well against Brock, Lieutenant Surge, Erica, Koga, Janine, Sabrina, but you'll want to be careful, Blaine, Giovanni, Blue's Executor, Arcanine, Rhydon, Gyarados, and Pidgeot, Lorelei, but be careful, Team Rocket's Pokemon, Falconer of Stone Edge, Bugsy, Jasmine, Price, and Will, but be careful, Karen, Red's Pikachu, Lapras, and Charizard, Roxanne, Watson, Flannery, Winona, Sydney, Glacia if you want to play risky, Steven's team, Team Aqua and Team Magma's Dark types, Archie's Mightyena, Crobat and Camerupt, Rourke, Gardenia, Byron, Candace, but I wouldn't, Volkner, Aaron, Flint, Lucian, but that's not a great idea, Cynthia's Roserade, Togekiss, and Lucario, Team Galactics, Poison and Flying types, Cyrus's team, Roxy, Berg, Elasa, Grimsley, Caitlyn if you've got a Death Wish, Team Plasma's Dark and Poison types, Getsis is Drapion, Toxicroak, and Hydreigon, Viola, Grant, Ramos, Clement, Valerie, Olympia, and Wolfrock, but it's not a good idea once again, Malva, Wickstrom, Danthus Tyrantrum, Aurorus, and Gardevoir, Team Flare's Pokemon, Lysander's Honchkrow, Pyro, and Gyarados, Kiawe, Mallow, Sophocles and Minas Trials, Olivia, Hapu, and Hapu's Kahuna battles, Kahili, Kukui's team aside from Snorlax, Faba but it's risky, and finally Lucimene's Clefable and Lilligant. Yeah, this was an absolute mouthful, but I guess that's what happens when you're one of the most recurring members of the best team series, and the MVP at that. Way to go, Nidoking.
Up next might surprise you, it's the infamous water-type Pokemon Lapras. Now you're probably wondering why we didn't choose Greninja or Starmie, because those two Pokemon are very solid. And well, for one, we didn't want to choose a starter Pokemon because we were very indecisive on which one to pick. And for two, Starmie is an awesome Pokemon, but it gets outshined by a second type that we choose later on in this team. So Lapras it is. Now, Lapras' performance in Kanto and Johto is quite amazing due to its incredible move pool. On top of that, since Lapras is a Pokemon with no evolutions, its stats are already competitive with fully evolved Pokemon, which is a nice bonus to having this Mon on your team. For the moveset, we thought Lapras would perform the best with the moves Surf, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Toxic. We chose Surf because, well, it's a powerful stab attack that any water type would flourish with. For Ice Beam, it's here because of Stab Again and the fact that it's a 90 base power move that Lapras learns at only level 32, which is pretty good to say the least. For Thunderbolt, we thought it'd be a great counter for other water-type Pokemon that Lapras might go against. And lastly, for Toxic, we thought this move would come in handy for certain situations like going up against a defensive Pokemon. So with this moveset in mind, Lapras could do well against Erica, Blaine, Giovanni, Blue's Arcanine, Rhydon, and Pidgeot, Lance, Faulkner, Claire, Red's Lapras, Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise, Roxanne, Flannery, Winona, Drake, Team Magma's Fire and Flying Pokemon, Maxie's Crobat and Camerupt, Team Aqua's Flying Pokemon, Archie's Crobat, Roark, Gardenia, Bertha, Flint, Cynthia, Roserade, Togekiss, and Milotic, Team Galactus Flying types, Cyrus, Houndoom, Honchkrow, and Crobat, Clay, Skyla, Drayden, Iris, Team Plasma's Ground and Flying types, Gittis, Hydreigon, Grant, Ramos, Malva, Drasna, Diantha's team, Team Flare's Fire and Flying types, Lissandra's Honchkrow and Pyro, Kawaii and Mallow's Trial, Olivia's Kahuna and Elite Four battle, Hapu's Kahuna battle, Khalil Elite Four battle, Kukui's Lycanroc, Bravery, and Cineroar, Faba's Claydol and Bruxish, and finally Luzame's Lilligant and Milotic. So yeah, Lapras would be a super handy Pokemon if there was a Pokemon game with every region, and that is why we chose it for the best team.
Man, I am so happy I get to talk about Gardevoir again. It has been so long since I've been able to talk about my favorite psychic Pokemon. And this time, it's also Fairy, because we're using Generation 7 mechanics. Gardevoir has the incredible typing of Psychic and Fairy. This typing is such a dynamic combo that just wrecks everything in sight. With how many Poison and Dark Pokemon that the evil team members have, this Pokemon begins to wreck house in that regard. Gardevoir also has great stats, a more phenomenal move pool than it did in earlier generations, and the power to Mega Evolve. Yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield aren't out yet, yet, so Mega Evolution is still a thing, you guys. Gardevoir, in my eyes, is probably this team's MVP because of the power it possesses. Great coverage, everything in general. Gardevoir's moveset is pretty generic, being Moonblast, Psychic, Energy Ball, and Calm Mind. Moonblast is the main stab attack it has. It's the most powerful fairy type attack it can get, if you don't count Hyper Voice with Pixelate. It can be relearned via Move Tutor. Psychic is the most powerful psychic attack it can get. That can be learned at a whopping level 31. That's very early too. Energy Ball is here because of coverage, and I don't think we have a lot of grass type attacks on the team so far. Calm Mind is great because we can potentially sweep teams in a pinch. With these moves, Gardevoir does well against most of Erika's team, Koga's team, Giovanni's Nidos, Bruno's fighting types, Agatha's poison types, Lance's team, Karen's team, Brawly's team, Sydney's team, Drake's team, Gardenia's Roserade, Fantina's Haunter, Maylene's team, Candace's Sneasel, Cynthia's Garchomp and Spiritomb, Roxy's poison types, Clay's Krokorok, Drayden's team, Grimsley's team, Marshall's team, Iris's dragon types, Gethys' Hydreigon, Karina's team, Drazna's team, Diantha's dragon types, and Hawlucha, Lima's Trial, Kiawe's Trial, Hollis Trial, and Nana's team.
Following up on Gardevoir is yet another Hoenn Pokemon, which has been featured in both the Hoenn-centric Best Team videos. Now, for this universal team, we need an electric type that would go well against all of the water Pokemon, because up until Generation 7, there are 133 water-type Pokemon, which is the most of any typing. So our choice came down to Manectric or Jolteon, and as you probably guessed, we picked Manectric. We thought that Manectric was a powerful Pokemon and has a diverse move pool for other Pokemon types, and the fact that it can Mega Evolve. So for Manectric, we chose the moveset Discharge or Thunderbolts, Flamethrower, Volt Switch, and Double Team. Now, the reason why we chose Discharge and Thunderbolt is because they are both TMs, so you can easily switch between them throughout each generation. With Discharge, it gives Manectric a greater chance of paralyzing the target and will come in handy for double battles. For Thunderbolt, it's just a great electric move that has a high base power, so you can never go wrong with its classic signature move. Moving on to Flamethrower, this move will give great coverage against Steel and Grass type Pokemon that might wall Manectric's stab moves. And like we said before, we chose Manectric for its more diverse move pool, so Flamethrower is one of the main reasons why we chose it over Jolteon. For Volt Switch, it's just a great electric type move that allows Manectric to get out of sticky situations. And finally, for Double Team, we thought building Manectric's evasiveness would make up for his mediocre defensive stats. And like you probably all know, Manectric can Mega Evolve, which makes it more powerful and faster, and the Intimidate makes Pokemon scared of it. It drops their attack stat severely. So with this moveset for Manectric, it can throw down the gauntlet with Misty, Erika, Blue's Exeggutor, Gyarados, and Pidgeot, Lorelei, Team Rocket's flying types, Faulkner, Bugsy, Jasmine, Price, Red's Lapras, Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise, Winona, Wallace or Juan, Glacia, Steven, Team Magma's flying types, Maxie's Crobat, Team Aqua's water and flying types, Archie's Crobat and Sharpedo, Gardenia, Crasher Wake, Byron, Candice, Aaron, Cynthia's Roserade, Togekiss, Lucario, and Milotic, Team Galactus flying types, Cyrus, Honchkrow, Crobat, Gyarados, and Weavile, Berg, Skyla, Marlins, Team Plasma's bug types, Vilo, Ramos, Wolfric, Water, Wilkstorm, Dialthus Hawlucha, and Gorgeous, Team Flare's flying types, Lissandra's Honchkrow and Gyarados, Lada and Milo's Trials, Molayne and Cahill's teams, Kukui's Ninetale, Bravery, and Magnezone, Faba's Bruxish, and finally, Luzumi's Luligant and Milotic. Yeah, Manectric puts in a lot of work, and that is why we chose it for the Universal Team.
The love for Hoenn is great and all, but now we're going to throw it to Generation 6 in Kalos. We wanted to go with something that brought some good bulk to the team alongside Lapras, but also gave us an offensive weapon against Ghost and Psychic types. Just saying that has probably made things obvious, so I'll come out and just say it. We chose Aegislash. It was sort of a no-brainer as its unique typing and excellent defense stats gives us the coverage we need to tank hits and take out some serious threats. It goes without saying, but we're definitely going to be rocking out with King Shield and Aegislash. Originally, we were considering making him into a Staller, but since we're looking at this from a perspective of people doing a normal playthrough, as opposed to building competitive sets, we decided to make him more offensive. We've got Ironhead to take care of the rock and ice types, as well as to give us a chance at flinching our opponents out with a strong stab attack. Our Aegislash also carries Shadow Sneak to give us priority to help finish off Pokemon that might be on the verge of defeat. Finally, we got Shadow Claw as his big offensive ghost move. You'll hit for plenty more damage than Shadow Sneak, and you've got an extra chance at getting a critical hit as well. Shadow Claw is the only thing you're going to need a TM for, so it won't be that hard to build this moveset. With this arsenal of moves, Aegislash slices through Brock's team, Sabrina, Giovanni's Rhyhorn, Blue's Exeggutor and Rhydon, Lorelei, Agatha, Morty, Price, Will, Roxanne, Tate and Liza, Phoebe, Glacia, Rourke, Fantina, Candace, Lucian, Cyrus's Weavile, Chantel, Caitlyn, Gethys' Cofagrigus, Valerie, Olympia, Wolfric, Dianthus Tyrantrum, Aurorus, Gourgeist, and Gardevoir. Acerola and Mina's battles, Olivia's battles, Kukui's Lycanroc and Ninetales, Faba's team, and finally Lucamine's Clefable and Mismagius. There's not a whole lot Aegislash is super effective against. However, what it lacks in coverage, it more than makes up for it in raw power and defense.
Coming in for the last spot for this universal team, we have Hawlucha. And if you watched the video we did on my channel, you already know what Hawlucha is capable of. So already this Pokemon is held to a high standard. Now Hawlucha has incredible stats with a very fun type combination of flying and fighting. On top of that, it has a lot of coverage against a variety of Pokemon, especially mons that would normally have the upper hand. And according to Mystic, he thinks that this Pokemon is one of the best fighting Pokemon in the entirety of the Best Team series. So it's a Pokemon that should definitely be on the universal team. For its moveset, we decided to go with Flying Press, Acrobatics, Roost, and U-Turn. And starting with Flying Press, the reason why we chose this move is because it has a cool effect of being a both flying and fighting type move, which gives Hawlucha a super effective move against a lot of Pokemon. For Acrobatics, this in our opinion is the best move for Hawlucha because it does massive damage when it's not holding an item, not to mention that it has Stab. For Roost, we thought it'd be a solid tool for Hawlucha to heal up during a competitive battle. And finally, for U-Turn, it's just a great backup for when Hawlucha needs to get out of a tough situation. So with this moveset, Hawlucha can go up against Brock, Erica, Janice's bug types, Blaine's Magcargo, Blue's Exeggutor, Machamp, and Rhydon, Koga's bug types, Bruno's fighting types, Karen's dark types, and Vileplume, Red's Venusaur, Snorlax, and Lapras, Roxanne, Brawly, Norman, Sydney, Glacia, aside from Frostlass, most of Steven's team, Roark, Gardenia, Marlene, Byron, Candice, aside from Frostlass again, Aaron's bug types, aside from Scizor, Bertha, Flint's Houndoom, Cynthia's Roserade and Lucario, Charon, Burge, Clay's Krokorok and Escadrille, Grimsy, Marshall, Iris's Hydreigon, Aggron, and Lapras, Gitti's Hydreigon, Vila, Grant, Corina, Ramos, Wolfric, Wilkstorm's Probopass, Malva's Pyroar, Cybel's Barbicle, most of Dianthus team, Lima, Mallow, and Hala's Trials, Olivia, Nenu, and Kukui, Snorlax, Incineroar, and Lycanroc. Let's just say Hawlucha is a beast, and that is why I took the last spot for the ultimate Pokemon team.
Well, that pretty much wraps up this best team for every region. We think this team dominates the Pokemon world of style and a lot of nostalgia. Regardless of if some trainers aren't included in this, we still think it's going to tear up the other regions. So if a game with all the regions comes out, remember this team. By the way, Dobbs, thanks so much for helping me out with this team. I really appreciate it.
Yo, no problem, man, and thanks for having me on too. And if you're watching this, be sure to check out the video we did on my channel because it is super awesome and it would be super cool if you came over and look. But yeah, that's all for me, and I will see you guys next time.
If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. I also have an anime channel called Mystic Sage where I create a bunch of anime speculations and reviews, so if you like anime content, consider checking that out. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like Shiny Hunting, Showdown Battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Bros, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further in Game Club perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.